Hey everybody, I'm John, and this is Blind Whiskey Reviews. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. Today we're reviewing the Willett Straight Rye Whiskey, 3-year-old version, cask strength. So that's going to be a fun review. And before we get into the review itself, I just want to chat a second to ask you guys a question. I'm trying to figure out the things that maybe you guys would like to see reviewed. And I have a bunch of private select, store pick barrels of different whiskeys, Knob Creek or Russell's Reserve or things like that. And is that stuff you guys want to see reviewed? Because the question really is that, it kind of is true of single barrel products as well, is that what I'm going to review is not going to be the same as if you went to your local store and purchased it and tried it. It's going to be different. Same with a single barrel product. Every single barrel is going to be different. So I'm curious to find out if that's something you guys like to see. So I'm going to put a poll up. You can click it up here. Just take a second. The video won't stop. Hit it. Click yes. Click no. Tell me what you think. Do you want to see me review private barrel selections from different liquor stores that I've been able to pick up? And we'll see if we can throw those into the mix. I definitely want to do comparison reviews. So like, for example, on the Knob Creek, I'd love to do a comparison between a private barrel and their standard single barrel selection. So I think that would be fun to do. But I want to know if you guys like to see a review of just the barrel select store pick bottle itself. So anyways, hit the poll, vote for me, and let's get into the review. All right, everybody, let's get into the whiskey. Let's start with the color. Got like a medium golden color, maybe like a light amber. Get to the nose. That's a strange nose. It's got a sweet caramel character to it, but then there's like a big punch of, it smells like dill pickle, so I'm wondering if this is a rye whiskey. Like a big punch of dill pickle. Yeah, caramel, brown sugar, a little bit of sweetness, and then it gets kind of overtaken by that herbal dill character. Interesting nose. Let's see how it tastes. Cheers. Bit of a burn on the tongue. Definitely get that dill character right up front. This first taste kind of died off pretty quickly. Let's get another one in here. A little bit of warming in the mouth. Not getting much going down. Flavor's pretty short. Doesn't linger around too long. There's a little bit of flavor hanging around right now, but it's definitely died down a bunch. All I can smell is that dill right now. I think I'm stuck on it. The taste follows the nose quite closely. Big dill pickle, kind of a background of sweetness, and that sweetness feels like it's coming like a brown sugar caramel sweetness. Like I said, dies real quickly. You don't get a lot on the back of the palate because the flavor kind of disappears. No real bitter character, not getting a lot of anything that would kind of lead you to feel like there's a lot of oak here, a lot of age. Definitely feels a little bit young, kind of harsh on the tongue, maybe a little bit. Proof-wise, seems lower. I'm going to say maybe 90 proof. And maybe I'll be right this time because my guesses have been getting better. Give it one more taste before we give it a number. Maybe on the back a touch of like cinnamon. Nothing crazy. Not a lot of flavor. Like I said, very dominated by that dill and brown sugar character. So for a rating, it's not bad. It's just nothing knocking my socks off. I have no problem drinking it. But I'm going to give it... And to give it a kind of a caveat, I've been looking at how I've been rating my whiskeys lately, and I kind of feel like I might be giving some of them a higher rating than I should, because I'm trying to make it so that if a whiskey is 90 proof and it's really good, I would give it a similar rating to something that, because like I prefer cask strength whiskey, right? So I'm going to give a cask strength whiskey a higher rating than I would a 90 proof whiskey. So I'm trying to, in my head, I think I'm trying to bring those two together and bring those whiskeys up a little bit, because I don't think they deserve to get a lower rating just because they're a lower proof. But on the same note, I kind of feel like they do, and I kind of feel like maybe I should bump some of my ratings down a little bit on some of the whiskeys. But anyways, that being said, I'm going to say this one is a 72. It's good, it's drinkable, it's just, there's not a lot there, not a lot of flavor notes, dies off pretty quickly, so it just doesn't have a ton going on. So let's see what it is. Wow, this is the Willett Straight Rye Whiskey. So I think I had a bottle of the Willett 3-year in there, and I'm surprised, I haven't tried this before. I've heard it's really good. It's not bad whiskey, it just, at least in this tasting, it didn't do a ton for me. So anyways, let's grab the bottle and we'll talk about it a little bit. All right, everybody, we just finished our review of the Willett Straight Rye Whiskey. This version is the family estate bottled small batch rye, aged in hand-selected white oak barrels for 3 years, hand-bottled at cask strength. This is 54% alcohol by volume, 108 proof. I'm embarrassed to say because I'm so far off on the proof. But it does drink relatively smooth. I will say the burn on the tongue is a little more intense, but past like the front of the tongue, it was pretty smooth. It didn't really give you that burn down the chest or that feel that you normally give with like a cask strength whiskey or a whiskey that's a proof like this. So I will say it does drink relatively smooth for what it is, although you do get a little bit of a burn on the tongue. A little bit with Willett, I'm no expert, but I do know they have roots back in Kentucky all the way to at least the Willett family itself has roots back into Kentucky all the way into like the 1700s. I know that of late, Willett, the company that bought Willett in the 80s, started sourcing whiskey. People assume they were sourced from Heaven Hill and maybe some other distilleries. So at some point they started creating their own, I believe it was in the early like 2012, 2013, 2014, somewhere in that range. They started producing their own whiskey, and this is probably one of those because it's only a 3-year aged whiskey. This whiskey I see a lot of positive reviews on it, and I'm not going to dispute that those are what they are, but it tastes like what it is. It's a cask strength whiskey, which I didn't taste that so much. It does have a decent amount of flavor punch, but it didn't have a ton of complexity. Didn't have a lot of oak character. It had a bit of that rye character. I think I said in the beginning of the review, even from the nose, it has that dill pickle kind of character, which kind of gives it away that it's a rye. And those are all decent things. I'm not a huge fan as a caveat, I'm not a huge fan of dill, but I don't think that really taints my review too much. It didn't have a ton of complexity. That dill kind of overtook everything. There was back notes of the caramel brown sugar type stuff, but it all played a background note to that big dill punch. So I just didn't get the complexity that I wanted, which is why I gave it the rating that I did. And again, a 72 is not a bad rating. It is a good whiskey, and this is going to go in the re-review pile down the line somewhere in a few months. We'll re-review it and see how it's tasting. So hopefully it'll open up and develop a little bit more. It is a high proof whiskey, so let's see how that does for it. One thing I did forget to do in the review, as it's only my second time doing it, is I forgot to add water. So I just want to take a second to do that now and see where that takes us. Maybe helps it open up a little bit. Let's add a little bit of water in there. A touch more. Give it a quick swirl. Not changing anything on the nose. Still that dill character. If anything, it makes that dill come forward more. It's almost losing those sweet brown sugar notes and just bringing that dill out more. Now, there's a little bit of sweetness there, but again, that dill is a big punch. God, I feel like it almost brought some of the heat forward more. Got a little bit more heat on the tongue. Doesn't change the flavor profile up too much. I mean, it's the same as I described in the review itself. Big dough pickle, background nose of the caramel and brown sugar. Maybe some other herbal character in the back there, but I mean, those are really the three predominant flavors I'm getting off of this. So again, let's throw it in the re-review pile, see how it does in a few months. Hopefully it opens up a little bit, maybe some more flavor characters come out. Because everybody says great things about this whiskey, so I'm hoping that some of that will show up with a little bit of airtime on it. In terms of value, I believe I paid $47 for this bottle. It's a cask strength whiskey, so I mean that seems about in the ballpark. It's not too old, it's only got 3 years of age on it, so $47 seems about the right price point for something like this. In terms of what I'm drinking compared to the price, I would say it's tough. As you saw from my review, I rated it a 72, so it's decent, it's good, it's just not great, and I would not probably buy another bottle of it again at this point. So anyways, if you liked the review, please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. If you've had the Willett 3-year rye whiskey, tell me what you thought about it. I'd love to hear what your flavor notes on it are. So other than that, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can send me an email at blindwhiskeyreviews@gmail.com, and until next time, cheers.